Hey, it's Deanna. And so tonight I want to show you about another thing that you can collect that's fun or something you probably didn't know about before. Because for many years I was oblivious to this until I started working retail. So I don't work retail anymore. Thank the good Lord. Oh my God. Everybody, I think there should be a rule. Everybody should work retail at least once in their life for 5 days. It would teach them a lesson on how mean people can be and how demanding the public can be. Oh my goodness, that was like the worst job I ever had in my life. So, back to the story of this. So, when I was working retail, right, I didn't really know anything about collecting money or coins or bills. And I sort of just like didn't really pay attention to anything. And then I started to notice things like after 2 years of working there. And it was like all of a sudden like people would give me money and I'd start noticing it. And so like in my till, I would notice coins that would stick out more than others. So for example, something would shimmer more. It could be like 50 quarters in my till, but I would notice the one quarter that looked different than everything else. And then I started realizing some quarters in some years were actually made out of silver. And so what I did was I would go in my pocket and take a quarter out of my pocket and slip it in the register and switch it out with the silver quarter. And well, it was a no-no. In retail, if they caught you doing that, you could get fired. I guess they think you're stealing or, you're messing around with the money. But I could have cared less, to be quite honest with you. As a matter of fact, I hated that job so much. I was hoping they fired me. It was so god awful. I kid you not. So I would notice like silver quarters, like I would also notice like pennies. Sometimes I would see steel pennies. I would notice like the difference between regular copper pennies. I would also find Indian head pennies, really old ones. I would also find very old buffalo nickels. I once found an 1830s German coin in there. Sometimes like people would slip you like a Canadian penny instead of an American penny. Like you'd notice like little things like that. And then one day, somebody handed me this bill and I took one look at it. I don't know why I noticed this. And I noticed that the serial numbers like popped out at me. And can you guess why? I'm going to give you 3 seconds. Okay, well, if you didn't already notice, if you look, it has four sets of double numbers. So it has an 11, an 11, a 55, and a 66. So I I did one of the old, I took $1 out of my pocket and slid it in the till and took this one. And so I took it home with me. And I just like, I don't know, I just found it interesting. So I did a little Googling. For some reason, I don't know how found what to Google or search because I didn't know that this type of collecting existed. And I found out that people collect what's known as fancy serial number bills. So they actually look for unusual serial numbers on the bills. And people actually buy serial numbers that are out of the ordinary. So a dollar bill could end up being worth $10, $5, $50, $200. Even like it doesn't matter what denomination. So somebody could have a $50 bill with an interesting serial number, and that $50 bill could be worth $300, or depending upon how unusual the serial number is. So I mean, also what I liked about it was the number 1111. It's actually a very lucky number. So if you notice the number 1111 on your clock a lot, I used to notice that all the time. Like out of nowhere, I'd look at the clock to see what time it was, and it would be 1111. So I Googled that too. I swear to God, like I must waste more time on Google than most people in the world. And I found out 1111, when you see that number, it means to make a wish. It's like something lucky, right? So that's why I love this bill so much. So, like for example, I did some research. This is called quads. So when you have four different double numbers, and what's cool about this quad is it has two consecutive numbers, so 55, and then you have 66. So that's great. But again, that 1111. Now, if this whole bill was ones, oh my God, God only knows what that would be valued at. I don't really know. I'm not an expert on coin collecting or bill collecting or even fancy serial numbers. I just happened to Google and find out. So I saw a couple of quads being sold on the internet, and generally I noticed these dollar bill with quads. are selling about 20 bucks a piece. So this $1 would be worth $20 to most collectors. So go in your wallets right now. Take a look at the serial numbers on your bills, and you might notice a pattern that's unusual. And there's all different kinds of different patterns that people collect. And they collect early serial numbers, like starting with zeros, like the first number being zeros. 0000, and then that's like early bills. There's all sorts of collectible styles for these serial numbers. So I found that really cool. I'm going to frame this bill actually. I don't think I'm going to bother selling it. $20 is not worth my time to list something, take pictures of it, pack it up and ship it out. $20, and then by the time they take fees out, I'll keep it. I enjoy this. I enjoy the fact that there was at least one day at retail that I didn't want to like completely and utterly rip my hair out and probably like want to vomit in the trash can next to my cash register. So once again, thanks for watching. And like I said, go check the bills in your wallet right now. Chances are you won't see any interesting serial numbers like this. You have a better chance of being struck by lightning or hitting the lottery. But then again, this isn't that rare. It isn't that rare that you have a better chance of seeing God. But nonetheless, thanks for watching. And let me know if you find any interesting serial numbers tonight in your wallet. So long.